This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this StockBox interview.
Today I'm joined by Adrian Hogg, Head of Valereum Markets. Thank you for joining us today, Adrian. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. How about you?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. So it's been a busy week for Valereum with a number of announcements out. But let's begin a bit by talking about Valereum Markets itself, which went live last week. Adrian, can you briefly introduce us to Valereum Markets, specifically the strategy of using tokenization to create value?
Sure. Valereum Markets is a licensed and regulated digital asset service provider in El Salvador. And we use blockchain for the full life cycle of events for tokenizing underlying assets. So therefore, for the primary, the creation, the issuance of the token through to the secondary market and all life cycle matters such as distributions and redemptions, etc. And we have a full wide asset stream that we work with. So we work from real estate all the way through to sports and life cycle in order to provide full suite of services to the underlying issuers and then to provide access to the investors as well.
Excellent. So we're seeing an increasing amount of activity in the real world asset space, aren't we? With a number of digital asset platforms emerging. What would you say differentiates Valereum Markets in this growing market?
Well, one of the key differentiators is that we're licensed and regulated. There are a number of DeFi platforms in RWA that are not. So the protection for both the issuer and the investor comes in that regulation and the way that we operate our marketplace for the protection of the investor and then dealing with things like compliance and AML and all that aspects that protects the market. In addition to that, we're full life cycle. So we're not, a lot of platforms, RWA platforms, are primary issuance only, and they haven't really solved the problem. If you're just doing primary issuance, then you still have the price discovery and liquidity problem. But we do the full suite. So we do primary and secondary, meaning that we solve the issuance issue in an efficient manner and low cost manner. And then from the secondary market, we allow price discovery and people to buy and sell on secondary market. So we're providing the full solution, whereas other counterparts in the market are merely providing part in the most part.
Great. So it's that real end-to-end offering. Moving on to the strategy, you've previously spoken to a mix of publicity products, and revenue products within the Valereum Markets. Could you explain how this works in practice?
Yeah, they're both very important for our marketplace. Of course, we have a profit motive, so we are focused on revenue, so we have our revenue products, but also we're focused on bringing counterparts to the market, so that's where the publicity products come in. So for an example, a real estate issuance might fall into the revenue bucket, and then the sports and leisure might fall towards the publicity aspect. So with publicity, what we're doing is looking to get eyes on the business and bring people into the marketplace to have interest in us. And then, of course, the revenue ones speak for themselves and bring revenue to the business. And so our focus is actually getting a mix of the two to ensure that we build a healthy market for all participants, that it's interesting when people come and visit our market. But obviously, with a profit motive, we want to ensure we have revenue as well. So that's the kind of strategy.
Great. So the two sides complement each other.
Yes, exactly.
I think it's also interesting to note that Valereum operates out of El Salvador, now a major player in the crypto space. What is it about the jurisdiction that's attracting so much interest and investment appetite, do you think?
Yeah, El Salvador has been, in the last few years, very interesting in terms of the change that the government has implemented in the jurisdiction, in the country. So they started in 2021 with Bitcoin being legalized as legal tender. And then they dealt with all the security issues in the country, and it's created a lot of inward investment. There's a lot of diaspora that moved away in the Troubles into Canada and the US that have a lot of wealth that are coming back and investing back in El Salvador. There are lots of, in the Americas, foreign counterparts that are looking to invest in El Salvador. We speak to the US a lot and Canada and investing in investment opportunity there. The economy is booming and there's a thirst for capital. There's lots of new projects. The traditional capital routes don't necessarily fulfill that, and that's where we come in. So we're coming into a marketplace where there's tremendous demand for capital, lots of new businesses growing up, lots of startups, lots of established businesses seeking to raise capital to expand into an expanding market. So for us, it's a very great place, a good place to do business. But it's not just in El Salvador; it's of course the Americas. So we're spreading our network throughout, and we're dealing with all kinds of jurisdictions in the whole region.
Great. So it's the perfect place to start a business like this, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. So alongside the launch of Valereum Markets, last week, I should say, also saw the company announce Club Deportivo as its first major sports sponsorship and tokenization partner. What made you pick the team?
Yeah, we always wanted, sports and lifestyle is very important for us and really the publicity leaning. And we wanted a football club. Football, of course, is the most popular sport in the world. And we wanted to start in El Salvador. So we have actually spoken to football teams in England, and we've spoken to football teams elsewhere in Central America. But our view was we start where the company is domiciled. We start in El Salvador, and we identified FAS as a counterpart that we wanted to work with. Actually, some of our team, members of our team support them. So we thought actually it's a great place to go. And they are the most successful club in El Salvador. They had the most titles, 19 titles. They were part of the establishment of the league in 1947 and have always been in the league. So they're in the second largest city, very heavy fan following. And we said, look, that's the best place to launch our business. The club has got a new owner. He took over the club in January this year. So it's kind of a lining of two parties, and we'll use that to build out the business into other sports areas. We've already been contacted subsequent to the announcement by several counterparts that want to introduce us to other football teams. So yeah, we're going to see that as a growing part of our business for sure.
Yeah, it's a great way to get your name out there, isn't it, in the jurisdiction in which you operate?
And with a shirt, well, we're not just tokenizing them; we're actually their shirt sponsored too. So yeah, it's man on the terraces, man on the street. We've created a lot of publicity in El Salvador by that deal. We're very happy with it.
Great. So you kind of touched on this, but what's the plan between the two of you for showcasing blockchain's potential in the sports and lifestyle sectors?
Yeah, it's to grow the business as much as we can in that area. There's a lot of capital on the terraces and in the fan bases. Lots of people want to invest in their club, and a lot of people would like to become an owner in the club. And that's really what we're focusing on. And then the capital development projects around that. For example, with FAS, who are sponsoring and we're tokenizing in El Salvador, they're going to then build an arena, a sports arena and a sports city, along with, training pitches, hotels, mall, etc. So there's all kinds of capital projects that build from that. And there's a lot of capital involved in sport. So we're helping to bring those, match the two together to allow in a meaningful way that people can invest in their favorite club. And our view is that that's going to be very popular throughout the world. And we're going to showcase it in El Salvador and build it elsewhere. We've already, even yesterday, I was speaking to somebody that wants to introduce us to other counterparts in Central and South America. So we see it as a real growth part of the business for sure.
Yeah, the start of a much bigger, longer-term trend for the company, I guess.
Yes, absolutely.
So looking to the wider opportunity here, Valereum covers a broad range of real-world asset verticals. You've got sports, lifestyle, real estate, TradFi, arts. Which of these do you expect to grow the fastest, and why?
I expect probably real estate and the sports and lifestyle to be the fastest growers. We do provide arts, and there's a royalties aspect there that we're very interested. We're also interested in anything with community initiatives that we can pull within of those products. We do have a responsible aspect, a moral contract that we want in the jurisdiction that we're in to provide good. But I do see the two main ones are probably sports, lifestyle, and real estate, but who knows? We'll see it developing. We've got structured products that we're dealing with, counterpart in Paraguay, an investment house that wants to do structured products. We've got sustainable projects that we're speaking to some people in Australia and in the Middle East. So there's a tremendous amount of opportunity for us. We provide full spectrum of all assets, and we hope to, over the coming weeks and months, to be bringing those kind of assets onto platform.
Yeah, I guess with the sector being so young, you're getting new opportunities, new areas that are moving into this space, on a daily basis.
Yeah, and those people, a lot of them have challenges to raise capital, and that's exactly where we come in. So we help them raise capital, and we help them with their projects. And it's the access point. It gives access to the investors get new asset classes that they couldn't have invested in without this kind of platform. And it gives obviously the people that need the assets, the issuers to access to capital as well. So it's a great marketplace for all.
Sure. And finally, looking to the future again, how do you see Valereum Markets evolving over, say, the next 2 to 3 years? Can we expect to see the business move into new geographies and offer new products?
Yeah, very much so. We participated in a meeting with the SEC in April. One of our members of the team were there, and there's a move towards looking at perhaps some kind of relationship between licensees in El Salvador and the US. But nevertheless, US is certainly somewhere where we're looking. And of course, we're looking into Europe as well and Asia, not just in terms of ourselves, but we want to collaborate with other counterparts, other venues. We've got a number of relationships globally. In particular, in Asia, we have some counterparts that we'll be looking to collaborate with. So yeah, we want to use El Salvador as the starting point, but it's not where we're going to end up. We're going to be going in a lot more globally. US is probably, let's see how the laws develop there. US is certainly somewhere we're interested in. There's a lot of potential in things like Reg CF and Reg A for capital raising for the kind of projects that would fall right in our wheelhouse. So yeah, there's a lot to come. In the next 2 to 3 years, there should be a lot of expansion in the business.
Excellent. Well, I look forward to speaking with you more as Valereum continues to move forward and update the market on what it's doing. For now, though, Adrian, thanks again for your time.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at StockBoxMedia.com. Thank you for watching.